The strength that shows up in the way you keep going on the days when going feels impossible. The strength that shows up in the way you still choose kindness, even when life has given you reasons not to, even when the world has handed you moments that would justify bitterness, and you refuse to become bitter. The strength that shows up in the quiet resilience of a person who has been through real things, real difficulties, real disappointments, real heartbreak, and came out the other side not hardened, not closed, not diminished, but somehow still soft, still open, still capable of warmth. Do you know how rare that is? Do you know what it means to come through the fire and not let it burn away the best parts of yourself? I know people who never recovered from half of what I suspect you've lived through. I know people who let one hard experience close them off completely, who decided that the world was not safe and went somewhere inside themselves that no one could reach. And I understand that. I don't judge it. I've been close to it myself. But you didn't do that. Something in you held on. Something in you understood, even in the hardest moments, that the ability to feel, the ability to love, the ability to be open and vulnerable and present, that those things are not weaknesses to be corrected, but gifts to be protected. And you protected them. Through everything, you protected them. And standing here on this side, knowing what I know about how hard that is, I want to tell you that I see that. I honor that. I think it is one of the most quietly heroic things a person can do. And I think about what it is you need from someone who loves you. Not in a calculated way, not as a formula, but in the way that really paying attention to a person eventually shows you what they're reaching for, what they're quietly hoping someone will offer without being asked. I think you need consistency. I think you have been in the presence of people who were wonderful and then weren't, who showed up and then disappeared, who made you feel everything and then made you feel foolish for having felt it. And those experiences leave a mark. They make you hesitate. They make you wait a little longer before you believe something is real, before you let yourself settle into the warmth of it, because some part of you has learned to expect the temperature to drop. And I want to be the person who changes that expectation. Not by telling you, by showing you, by being there on the unremarkable days, by being exactly the same in the quiet moments as I am in the significant ones, by being someone whose consistency becomes so familiar, so reliable, so steady, that eventually the part of you waiting for things to fall apart realizes it doesn't have to wait anymore. That this is not falling apart. That this is staying. That I am staying. I want to tell you about a feeling I get sometimes that I don't have a precise word for. It happens when I hear a song that is so specifically beautiful it feels personal, like it was made for something you're carrying. It happens when the light does something particular in the late afternoon, golden and slow and gentle, and the world looks for a moment like the version of itself that makes everything feel possible. It happens in the pause between one thing and the next, in the breath before a moment becomes a memory. It's a feeling of almost touching something perfect, almost reaching something real, almost being completely inside a moment instead of watching it from one step away. And I get that feeling when I think about you. This constant sense of almost, of standing at the edge of something so good, it makes me afraid to reach for it in case the reaching changes it, in case wanting it too clearly pushes it further away. But I'm learning slowly, imperfectly, with a lot of resistance from the parts of me that would rather stay safely almost. I'm learning to reach anyway. I'm learning that the almost is not a warning. It's an invitation. It's the feeling of something real being close enough to touch. And the right response is not to step back and admire it from a careful distance. The right response is to reach, to actually reach. So let me reach right now. Let me close the distance between what I feel and what I say, between what I want and what I'm willing to ask for. Let me stop editing and hedging and wrapping everything in the safety of vague beautiful language that communicates feeling without taking any real risk. Let me just say it plainly, the way it deserves to be said, the way you deserve to hear it. I think about you in a way that has weight to it, in a way that is not light or casual or passing. I think about you in a way that has settled in, that has found a place in me and put something down and stayed, and I don't want it to go. I don't want to talk myself out of it or outgrow it or replace it with something safer. I want to stay in it. I want to go further into it. I want to see what it becomes when it's given room and time and honesty and the kind of care that doesn't flinch. And I want that with you specifically, not with a version of you that I've made up to fill a space with you, exactly as you are right now, complicated and layered and uncertain about some things and sure about others, working through whatever you're working through, carrying what you're carrying. I want all of that. I want the parts that are easy and the parts that are not. I want the version of you that shows up confident and the version that shows up unsure. I want the you that laughs easily and the you that goes quiet when something is too much. I want all the chapters, not just the ones with good lighting. Because my mother looked at a photograph and saw your eyes and said they were kind, and she has never been wrong about a person in her life. Not once. And I have been standing in front of that moment ever since, turning it over, feeling what it means, understanding slowly that it was not a coincidence and not a small thing, it was a confirmation. It was the universe using the most trustworthy person I know to tell me something I needed to hear in a voice I couldn't argue with. And what it told me is that you are real, that what I feel is real, that the direction of you is not a detour from my life, but the very center of it, the part everything else orbits around, the thing that gives the rest of it meaning and warmth and the particular quality of light that makes ordinary moments feel worth remembering. And I am not finished saying this. I am nowhere near finished. There is so much more in me that belongs to you, so much more that has been waiting for the right moment, the right courage, the right words, and I am just beginning to find them. I am just beginning to understand the shape of what this is, the size of what I feel, the depth of what I want to give you if you'll let me.